Hi all, this is Dana here. In this video I'm going to be showing you a quick idea that I just came up with regarding my DMC strand chart. I was looking online yesterday and a bunch of people were talking about how you can't really easily buy the DMC. In case you don't know, the DMC is a French floss manufacturer. It's one of the biggest in the world and one of the oldest. You can't really buy the old-fashioned DMC floss charts that have the actual threads themselves. Right now, most of them are printed versions, so the colors are a little off depending on the actual tone of thread. I was looking online, and I'm in Canada, so it's actually pretty hard to find ones that will ship to Canada. So what I thought I would do in the meantime, while I keep looking, is actually adapt the chart that I do have to make it a little bit easier to use. So as you can see, this is the front of the chart, and then this is part of the inside of the chart. Here it's actually about 6 or 7 pages long. It's several hundred colors. I think there's over about 400 colors in the chart, plus a few different types like the light effects threads and color variations and satin floss and things like that. I tend to use just the 6-strand embroidery floss for my projects and for my patterns that I design. So what I'm going to be doing is, in this image you can see a picture of how my most recent pattern that I made, Mikey as I was calling him, the Sistine Michelangelo image I did, how it looked on the screen of my computer using MacStitch. Now, of course, each computer screen has slightly different color resolution and whatnot, so the thread colors aren't going to ever be exactly to what they are in real life. They're really close, but they're never going to be exact. And as a designer, sometimes that's a bit of a problem if you're wanting an exact shade or you're not sure how two colors are going to look next to each other if they're quite close in tone. So as you can see, this next image is a picture of the finished product. This is how it looks stitched now, or a little close-up of it anyway. And the colors are a little bit different than how they appear on the screen. And also you can see how I was trying to compare my DMC chart to the colors on the screen. And it was pretty hard because the chart itself is, letter size, and it's a big folding accordion type card chart, and it was really hard to get the colors that I wanted right next to the screen so I could kind of compare what was showing up on the screen versus the closest I have right now, which is this floss color chart. So what I thought I would do is actually cut the chart up into strips and mount them. I've got, you can see here, I've got these little rings. I've got this one, I'm not sure if it's going to be big enough, little binder ring, or I've also got a shower curtain ring. I've got a bunch of these lying around. I use them for various things. So I'm going to mount the cards onto these rings. I've got a little hole punch here, but you could also just punch a hole in it with an awl or something along those lines. And you can see I've got my big, beautiful steel ruler. I've got, underneath here, I've got my self-healing cutting mat. This thing is great. I've had it like 20 plus years and it's still going strong. And of course, handy dandy craft knife. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually not going to be doing this half of the chart, which is the satin floss and things like that. I don't need those, I don't use those. And also on the back here, I don't know if you can quite see, this is actually the color number locator, which is actually a really handy chart in case I'm looking for a specific color. It's a lot faster to find it on here and then find the column number. And the column numbers are, you can see up the top here, kind of, sort of. A lot easier to find the colors that way than it is to search through all of the names and numbers of the colors themselves. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to be doing this little section of the chart, so I can keep that color reference page intact. So what I am going to do is I'm going to start with this one and then work my way this way, as I'm actually going to cut right along this edge here, because that way I will be able to butt this edge of the color directly up against my computer screen. Sorry, it's going out of focus. I can butt this edge right up against my computer screen, and that way I'll get a much better idea of how, I guess I should say, off the colors are for certain tones. Like I said, each computer is going to have slightly different color variations. No program is ever going to get it 100% perfect. It's very close, but like I said, I do tend to use some tones that are very close to each other, so I do want to make sure when I'm designing a pattern that the tones are going to stitch up how I think they're going to. So what I'm going to do right now is just show you how I'm going to cut these into strips. Super complicated. I'm just going to lay the ruler next to the edge of this strip of colors here. Make sure it's all nice and straight. And I'm just going to cut straight down. Because the chart is made so that all these columns are actually the same distance apart, by just cutting along this edge here, I'm just trying to not knock the camera, by cutting along this edge, the outer edge of the chart, then all the little strips, in theory, should end up being the same width. So there you go. So there's my nice little line there. Probably actually cut it a little bit closer. I think there's a little bit of white showing, but anyway, it's good for now. And then obviously I'm going to be doing the same for this one here. So this is my next one. I'll be cutting along this line here. And then what I'll be doing, I'll just try and move this closer, I'll be punching a hole in the center of each of these strips. Punching a hole here and then putting it onto one of these rings that I've got. Basically, it's almost like, it's going to turn into almost one of those like paint swatch cards you see in paint shops and home decor shops with the different, sort of the long strips with all the different colors on it. That's pretty much what I'm going to be making out of this floss chart. I think it'll be a lot easier for me to use, and yeah, I think I'll get a lot more use out of it than I am currently. So I'm going to keep cutting them up, and then I will show you how it looks once it's all been cut up and hole punched. Alright, so I've finished cutting the strips, and as you can see I've cut them all along this edge down here, and the little, so I'm just going to focus this, the little ring actually did work well, so it's small enough, or big enough I should say, that you can open it out evenly, and that's not a problem. So yeah, so that's how I made my little sort of DMC floss color strip, sort of similar to what you would find for paint strips in a hardware store, but this way too, like I can butt this edge right up against my pattern, whether it's on my screen, or even if you're wanting to maybe you run out of a certain color of floss and you want to butt this up against your pattern, if you happen to have a color template and you can see which color might be suitable to replace it with, like say your floss shop has run out of a certain color or whatnot, might be a good way to mix and match if you needed to substitute anything. So yeah, so that's it for now. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the comments below. But that's a quick little tutorial about how to make your floss chart a little bit more functional if you are a designer, or like I said, you're needing to replace your floss colors for any reason. Yeah, I hope you have a good day and talk to you later. Bye for now.